In this video, we'll show you the 3-thread overlock stitch in the wide setting. This stitch can be used for seam finishing on thicker fabrics, but it is most commonly used decoratively. By using various decorative threads like these, you can create a wide range of beautiful edge finishes. Thicker threads can be used in the loopers. A coordinating color of serger thread is used in the needle. The wide 3-thread overlock stitch uses the needle in left position, and we're going to remove the needle in the right position. So use the small screwdriver from your machine's accessories, place the end of it into this screw right here, turn to loosen, and remove that right-hand needle. You can't just leave it unthreaded, it needs to be removed. Now raise the presser foot lifter and open the front cover. To do so, just place your thumb here, push to the right, and pull forward. For a wide 3-thread overlock, raise your thread mast all the way up, and you would use your upper looper thread and your lower looper thread. And because it's a wide 3-thread, we're not using this needle thread, we're going to use the far left needle thread, and your spool would go here. We're going to start with the upper looper thread. You're going to bring it up through your thread mast, and then hold the thread and snap it from right to left into this thread guide, and then bring the thread down through this tension disc and down through the channel. Inside the looper area is a little chart that shows you how to thread the machine, all color-coded. So starting with the red one, we're bringing the thread down through this channel. We're going to thread from right to left into this first guide that's marked with a red dot. Now we're going to thread it into this one, and it just pops in kind of from bottom to top. Just pull it up into that guide. And then there's another guide. The next one is here, so we'll just pop that in like so. And the next thing we're going to do now is thread the eye of the upper looper. Now thread the eye of the upper looper, and it's usually helpful to use your tweezer to grab a hold of the end of that thread and bring it around to the back. And there you are, you've threaded your upper looper. Next we'll thread the lower looper. So we'll take that thread, bring it up through the thread mast, snap it into this guide at the top of the machine from right to left, and then bring it down through the tension disc and through the channel. The lower looper thread goes into this guide here, this gold one. And now we're going to bring it over into this next guide, and you can just slip it in from behind. And then from bottom to top into this next one, and then we'll slip it into this guide as well. Next, you want to place your thread into the eye of the lower looper, and then grab the thread end and bring that toward you. Use your tweezer to bring this thread now over. There's another thread guide over here you can see with yellow. And there are these two little arms that thread gets staged into. And then as you continue holding the thread, putting a little tension on it with your right hand, place your finger under this guide and push it all the way up, and it will thread your lower looper. Now place your lower looper thread over the upper looper thread. You can just check that to make sure this gold one is over the top of the red one. You don't want it going underneath, because if it is, your machine won't sew properly. You want to make sure that gold one lays over the top of the red one. Next, we're going to thread the left needle. We're going to start with this one here, the blue. Bring it through our thread guide here at the top. Snap it in from right to left into this thread guide at the top of the machine, and bring it through the tension and down the channel. Bring it up over this sort of U-turn here. That's going to get your thread into the take-up lever. And then bring it down behind this thread guide, just above the needle, and thread the eye of the needle. And you may find it helpful to use your tweezers to grab a hold of the end of that thread And just bring it to the back, and then once you've pulled it through, place all your threads, make sure they're underneath the presser foot. And close the cover, and now we're ready to test our stitch. Check your machine manual for the correct tension settings for this stitch, and then place your fabric under the presser foot, lower the presser foot, and step on the foot control to begin sewing. And there's our 3-thread overlock in the wide setting using that left-hand needle. Let's try it now with a decorative thread. Next, we're going to take a look at how to use this 3-thread wide overlock decoratively. Here you see an example of where we have a decorative rayon floss, which looks like this, and we place that on our upper looper. So we're going to show you how to change the thread on your upper looper to something decorative, if you'd like to make a finish like that. And what we'll do on our needle thread and lower looper thread is replace them with a coordinating color. Raise your presser foot lifter, and now open the front cover. Now we're going to trim the needle thread and completely remove it. So now we're going to change the upper looper thread to our decorative thread. And to do that, I'm going to just clip this thread, remove it, and I'm going to replace with my decorative rayon floss. This thread is a little bit spilly, tends to want to fall off the spool, so you might want to remove this so that it can sit a little more flat on the cone stand. So next I'm going to take the ends of my thread, my red one that I just cut, and the end of my decorative thread, and tie them in a knot. And now I'm going to do the same for my lower looper thread. I want to use a coordinating thread in a coordinating color to my decorative thread. And I'm going to do the same thing with the yellow thread. I'm going to clip it, remove the spool, place my other spool with the coordinating color on there, and tie these in a knot. In addition to having the presser foot lifter raised, we're going to also loosen our tension discs here so that when we pull these threads through the machine, they'll just move freely through the threading paths. Now hold the two tails of the upper and lower looper and pull through until you see those threads come through. Easy. And now we're ready to thread the needle. Now thread the eye of the needle with your coordinating color of thread, and then bring all your threads under the presser foot lifter out to the back, and we're ready to try our stitch on the edge of our fabric. Turn your tension dials back to where they were. We may need to adjust later depending on the look we want for the stitch, but this is a good place to start. Place your fabric under the presser foot and lower the presser foot and start sewing. There we have our beautiful, decorative, wide 3-thread overlock edge. You can use this on the edge of coats or blankets or all kinds of projects for a beautiful decorative edge. For more information about sewing with an overlock machine, or for information about optional accessories that are available for your machine, visit the Serger website.